Hey everybody, once again, it is your boy, your host, Preston here for the H-Town Rundown, Houston Rockets basketball podcast here. I'm joined with Dante once again. Dante, what's good, man? How you been, brother?
Hey man, what's good, man? I've been good, man. I've been good. I'm just ready to talk Rockets, man. All Rockets.
Yes, sir. We're gonna jump right into it after the intro. Cue it. Yes, sir. We are back after a couple losses, a win, and another loss. So Dante and I today are going to talk about all of that. So be sure to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel on YouTube as well at H-Town Rundown. Hopefully, where you're watching, you can also follow this channel on Twitter at the H-Town Rundown, as well as Instagram. And then I've got an Instagram and Twitter as well at Trip. That's 2Ps_GAWD. And follow my boy Dante at Coach Dante 31. He's also got a YouTube channel. He goes crazy over there. So be sure over there. He say, yo. So today we're gonna break down a couple things today: the Heat and Bulls losses, as well as the Pistons W that was much closer than it should have been, and the Celtics blowout L. And we'll talk about potentially playoff hopes. Right? Is that real or fake for us this season? I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy this episode. So let's jump right into it today. First L of the game, or for this podcast, was against the Heat today. Unfortunately, we lost 113 to 120. The game with no Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero ended up going off, of course. Prevent Fleet, though, carried and did the best job he could here. He had 32 points in 39 minutes, 5 boards and 7 assists, 2 blocks to go with it. Only 50% from 3. He was 7 of 14, which is just nice to see his 3-point just jumping out the box here. He made all his free throws, and he ended up going 45% from the field. And then Alperen Sengun ended up playing 31 minutes here. He ended up fouling out this game, which is absolutely insane for our boy. I think it's his second time this season that he ended up fouling out. So, he's kept those offensive fouls down to a minimum. He had 22 points and 11 boards, 2 assists, and 3 steals in his 31 minutes run here. He shot 60, 50, and 75 from the field. And then our boy, the Slam Cam, he had 17 minutes played in this, but boy, was he impactful. 11 points, 6 boards, and a steal to go on with almost 62.5% from the field and 50% from 3. They did not get a chance to make any free throws. But it's the Heat game for, their switch and whatnot defense, kind of running you off from the perimeter, not fouling as much. So speaking of fouls, Dante's going to talk about the keys of the game here, which involve the energy their team played with, the fouls, either that we committed or the Heat committed or lack thereof, as well as our bench and the difference between our bench and the Heat bench, which was just a huge factor in this game. So go ahead, Dante, and show them what's good.
Well, the first of all, the Miami Heat, they had 30 assists in the game. They moved the ball around a lot. The young guys gave us problems. Jaime Jaquez gave us a lot of problems in that game. We kept Adebayo in check for the first half, but then he got going in the second half. We have no idea how to stop Tyler Hero. He averaged 25 points per game against us pretty much, so he's still our kryptonite. They shot 41% from the three-point line. We shot 34. We made 14 threes, but they shot accurate more from the three-point line. So, and it's tough to get in the paint against a Miami Heat team that's that disciplined. I mean, they're the type of team, no matter if Jimmy Butler is on the floor or not, they still know how to play, and they still know how to win because that's how, great Eric Spoelstra is. First, and again, I'll say 42 points in the paint in this game. I mean, it was just a lot of, every time we got close, it was just a lot of buckets that Miami Heat hit, big time buckets. We put them at the free throw line too much early in the game. Another stinker game for Jalen Green. He continues to be inconsistent. You don't know what type of Jalen Green you can get. I like Cam Whitmore, man. That guy shows some energy, man. That guy making the case, man. I deserve more and more rotational minutes with this guy. This kid has been doing lately. He deserves more rotational minutes. You remember when we were talking about Aaron Holiday, how good when he was out, when Thompson was out, and he still earned those minutes. Cam Whitmore the same, man. Jayshawn Tate not giving us much on the offensive side of the ball, Cam Whitmore is giving us more on the offensive side of the ball and good defense. And so again, another tough game. It was a tough game for LP early on, but he got it together. He got it going. 22 points, 10 rebounds. And Fred VanVleet, 7 threes, was hot throughout the whole game. It's just nobody picked Fred VanVleet up, and he rarely even had help. But again, we didn't get nothing out of Jalen Green. We didn't get nothing out of him. We got 9 points out of Tate, but he's not a scorer. We just didn't get nothing about Jalen Green, man. We lost this game by 7. And your two top scores was Fred VanVleet with 32 and LP with 22, and Jabari Smith chipped in 10, but he struggled from the field, 3 of 13 from the field. You're not going to beat a good team like that in the Miami Heat.
No, that's enough said on that one. There's not much that we're going to be able to do, especially if we're not hitting shots, right? We were super inefficient from 3. We were not, making shots, and then our supposed bucket getter Jalen Green was not getting buckets. Unfortunately, I do a lot of defending on Jalen Green. He's still my dude. I still believe in him, but we got to pick it up at some point. I can only make so many excuses. I can only say, how much time left so many times, to just hold off so many times. But I will make the case that for Jalen, this is like year 2.5, not even really year 3 for him, just from the sheer amount of changes he had to make. But again, I'm not trying to make no excuses for him. He played poor, and that was it. Now there were multiple times, where he's driving to the basket, right, and not getting his free throws. But that happens to any player. Players drive all the time, don't get the free throws. So that's not an excuse. Just fact. It is what it is. And Jalen, I need you to pick it up, my boy. I need you to pick it up. And then as well as just Fred, again, like hitting 7 threes. Fred, his field goal percentage has been not great, but, from 3, he's been pretty good, shooting anywhere from 34 to 40% on almost any given night. And like tonight, he's hitting 50%, which is really, really respectable. Could not beat him. And then Kyle Lowry, he ended up getting injured in this game. I think he injured that hand that he had surgery on a couple years, and he's been battling back and forth. So, I haven't heard much news from him since then, but I do hope all is well with him. I hate to see players get injured on the court. And Kyle Lowry, he's a good player. He's not quite what he used to be, but it was nice to see 2 Toronto guys go at it again.
Yeah, it was nice to definitely see it. Again, Tyler just continue to be our kryptonite. And Bam Adebayo just turned it on in the second half, and we did a lot of fouling in this game, which put them in a penalty fast and also got them to the free throw line. So, and that guy, Jaime Jaquez Jr., that guy's good, man. I got to give it to him. That guy's pretty good.
He's much better than what I give him credit for. Jaime's pretty good. Everyone, from Heat culture talking about Jaime this and Jaime this. I'm like, man, they was talking about some Jaime Hawkins, Tyler Herro, and Kyle Lowry for Damian Lillard way back in the days. And I was like, man, no way. But Jaime could have a future. He's been pretty solid, especially of late. He's had an uptick in offense and whatnot over there. But fortunately, he's not on our team. Just another guy who decides to show up against us as per usual. But, again, if this is what it takes to beat us, it is what it is, right? At 7 in this game, we really should have had it in the bag, especially with no Butler. And Tyler Herro just figures us out every time. I don't know what it is, what we're doing, but Tyler he knows how to cook. He knows how to cook. And he does against us every time. So Tyler ended up blowing us out. In terms of his scoring, our bench couldn't keep up with theirs, and that's all she wrote, Again, another good game from Cam, though. Speaking of good game from Cam, we played against the Bulls here, which ended up going to OT, 119-124, and ended up losing this game. Jabari played 47.5 minutes, a lot of minutes from our young guy tonight, 18 and 15, an assist and a block in that time. He had 18 points going into 8 minutes left of the fourth quarter and did not make a single shot, did not get very, very many attempts after that. I believe he only shot 2 shots after the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter there, including overtime, which is not what I want to see. He was hot going into the third, or going from the half into the third, continued that streak, was still pretty good going to the fourth, and he made a lot of defensive plays, which was phenomenal that you love to see from the locksmith. Just unfortunately, I think he got iced out of the game. Then Albert Şengün played 41 minutes tonight. He had 25 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals. He ended up shooting 58% from the field and didn't make a 3. And he only shot a putrid 37.5% from the free throw line, which I know Dante's going to roast him about making his free throws here in a second. And then Cam Whitmore, again, he played a career-high minutes, 33 minutes today. 16 points and 5 boards, along with a couple steals and an assist here. Just absolutely phenomenal play from him yet again. He shot 50-40 from the field as well as made all his free throws. So at least somebody was making their free throws. Just an interesting game tonight. So Dante going to jump right into it, talk about the paint play, the second half that we ended up coming back from and then losing in OT, and then the bench offense yet again.
Another game we had. We had to come from behind in this game to win this game. We did put it in the overtime, which is we were up by 5 in overtime. We was up 119 to 114. Then Zach LaVine decided to go 2 straight threes, a 3-point play and a 3-pointer, and Kobe White decided to have 30 points on us. When we giving up 124 points, that's not the Rockets defense. When we giving up over 130 and 24 points, that's not Rockets defense. Again, we ain't gonna win games shooting 60% from the free throw line. We 12 of 20. How can we win games not making our free throws? That is, that's points that we left off. If we make free throws, we win this game. Bulls 19 threes. Made 19 threes. Can't win a game with an opposing team making 19. Hot from outside and making them at a 40% clip. Zach LaVine is a guy that wants out. He wants out of Chicago, so he's going to do whatever it takes to get his trade value up and to get up out of there. And unfortunately, he had the biggest 5 minutes, that he could ever have. I like the way we moved the ball around. 29 assists, but they had 31. They had 31 assists. I like our turnovers in this game. Only committed 14 turnovers, but you try not to commit any type of turnovers at all. Jabari Smith, another big time game. Jabari Smith has been real good for us this year. 18 points, 15 rebounds. And Jayshawn Tate gave us nothing out there. It's just like he was almost out there on the basketball court for the last few games. And Jalen Green gave us 18 points. Like I said again, don't mind the 18 points, but for a player of your caliber, we expect more from Jalen Green. We expect a 20-point night every night. Fred VanVleet has gave us more 20-point games than Jalen Green, giving us more 20-point games, and that is unacceptable right there. You gotta Jalen. We need more from Jalen Green. Al-P did not do good in the first half, but he did great in the second half. He did great in the second half. So again, we didn't make free throws. We didn't play good defense. Cam Whitmore, another great night. 16 points, 2 of 5 from 3. And again, man, like I say, I'm enjoying watching Cam Whitmore play each and every night. The more this guy plays, the more this guy just figures out the game, his athleticism and his shooting. If he can shoot the 3 ball at least 36, 35%, this guy could be scary to guard, man. And you can see with guys trying to post him up, he's hard to move. Al Horford, he got a foul. We're going to get to that game in a minute, but he got a foul on Al Horford. But you saw when people trying to post him up, it's hard to move that guy. That guy literally 250 and just not moving. But I'm enjoying watching Cam Whitmore every time he's out there on the court, man. Like I say, man, I think he just deserved more minutes, man. He deserved to stay on his team in a rotation, man. I'm telling you, by the end of the season or in the middle part of the season, about the All-Star break, this dude going to be getting consistent minutes. And, people were talking on Twitter already. Maybe you should start Cam Whitmore over Jayshawn Tate. Maybe you should go that route. And I said, I think I mentioned that one podcast. Maybe we should go that route, but I'm going to hold out for a little bit. But Jayshawn Tate, you got to give us something, man. You got to give us some type of production.
Literally anything to what you've been doing. 4 points in his last couple games. Not great from Jayshawn Tate. I'm still puzzled as to why we're starting Tate with him being so poor in the lineup. Again, a great defensive piece, a fantastic bench piece.
Nothing wrong with it. Yep.
Yeah, just not great for the starting lineup because we have two non-shooters in the lineup between Tate and Şengün, so they're not respecting the spacing on that, as well as Jalen Green, who's been up and down, so they're kind of letting him shoot too. Obviously, they're guarding him, but they're some teams are living with the Jalen Green three, calling it okay, right? So you got three people that are kind of shaky on shooting, right? And you got Jabari, who's shooting almost 40%, and then Fred, who can go off, but not necessarily a consistent 39% three-point shooter every single night, despite what the percentages say. We see the ups and downs, right? He's got peaks and valleys. So a team that's got some, shooting disparities, why not throw the guy out there that's, shooting a true shooting of, 65% from the field? Just let him go out there, man. Let him go out there, cook,
Yep.
And yeah, Cam's going to make those rookie mistakes. So that's why we have, Previn Fleet out there to kind of help him out. And then Jabari can, be a weak side shot blocker. I don't know. And then when Tari comes back, my goodness, when Tari comes back, I'm ready. Definitely thinking about him taking one of those station minutes completely and letting Tate just hang out on the bench entirely. We saw Dylan Brooks come back, and we'll get to that too. And it was definitely a relief to have him out there despite getting blown out. But man, Tate, we got to pick it up a little bit, bro. If you want that trade value to be good, if you want to go to the Nuggets like you want to, I need you to perform a little bit more, just so we can get something back, fair trade. And then speaking of after this game, Fred VanVleet actually is the fastest Rocket. I don't know if many people talk about this, but he's the fastest Rocket to reach 600 points and 300 assists. He did so in 36 games. He beat Chris Paul by 1 game, by the way.
That's impressive.
Chris Paul did it in 37 games in 2018, 2019. And Fred VanVleet did it this year. So that I think that means a lot, especially considering, where we're at going forward. Fred has been fantastic. He's been phenomenal this season. Jabari has been pretty good. Alpert's been fantastic. But Jalen Green, not so much. And I got that jersey back there. That's Jalen back there, man. He been let me down a little bit, unfortunately. It's really sad to see him, kind of cucking away and not doing what we thought he'd be doing in year 3. But again, it's like year 2.5 for him. That's kind of what the new route that I've been going for, if that makes sense to me. Hopefully, and hopefully we see the improvement after the All-Star break. Hopefully he actually does. I swear, if he has one game under 18 points and after the All-Star break, it really might be over. But we'll get to that later on when we talk about the playoffs.
Shout out to my guy Rocky, who's in the chat. Rocky Adam, shout out to you for coming over here and supporting me and my guy Press on the H-Town Rundown. Shout out, Rocky.
Yes, sir. It was good, my boy. And then we're going to talk about an actual W, finally. We had Rockets versus Pistons, so it was Twin Night Part 2. We ended up winning this game 112-110 despite being down essentially the entire game, battling back to 55-55 at the half, and then losing that lead and being down as much as 13 in the second half, and then coming back in the fourth quarter and being able to win the game up by 5, and we won by a Jaden Ivey rim out 3. My gosh, if he would have made that, I would have cried. But we ended up winning, which is good, and we did not lose to the Pistons, so we are 2-0 this season, thank the Lord. This is the game that Steven Smiley was back, and we got to say hi to him. Alperen Şengün talking to him, Jalen Green talking to him, so at least there's some love between the two, which is really nice to see. Just the communication between players and coach, which I wish we would have seen last year more. But it is what it is, right? So Alperen Şengün played 37 minutes in this game. He had 29.6 boards, an assist, and a steal. He had shot 63% from the field, didn't make a single 3, and he shot 71% from the free throw line. We want to see those numbers go up. Then Jalen Green, who had 28 points in 39 minutes, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. But boy, did he shoot poorly. 36% from the field, 22% from 3. He shot 8 and 9 from the free throw line, which is nice, but those field goal numbers is not looking too pretty. And then Jabari Smith, he had 41 points, 41 minutes. He had 19 points, 11 boards, an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks. Shot 47% from the field, 33% from 3. He only went 1 of 3, but he made all his free throws. There was a lot to talk about in this game. Unfortunately, the brothers Asar and Amen didn't really get to go at it. Once again, I would have expected them to kind of go at each other a little bit more, but there wasn't that same aggressiveness. You know, there was some chatter in the first half, but not as much in the second half. It was all business, all serious. So Dante gonna break down the game here, talk about the energy, fouls, and the rebounding that ended up giving us this game, among a couple other things. So go ahead, Dante, and take it away.
Yeah, so the basketball guys kind of saved us in this game. Like Ime Udoka said, we stole one, and that's exactly what we did. We did come in there and steal it. I believe we was down 95% of the game pretty much. We was trailing throughout the whole game until the fourth quarter, until Fred VanVleet belt us out by getting hot. LP got hot in the fourth quarter as well. Made some big time plays. Jabari Smith, another great game, man. Like I said, Detroit Pistons, had 32 assists in this game. They out rebounded us by 5 because they got those big guys. Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart is a big guy that they got. We outscored them in the paint pretty much. We made 8 threes against a bad Detroit Pistons team, and a bad Detroit Pistons team made 12 threes, shot 34%. Again, the basketball guys pretty much bailed us out. Jalen Green did have a big third quarter. I believe he did have pretty much a good third quarter. That was the only thing good about him. He shot very poorly from the field. And then
second quarter.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Right there. That's how we tied it at 55. His second quarter right there. Jae'Sean Tate, another game he did absolutely nothing in 20 minutes. Another game he did absolutely nothing in. Cam Whitmore didn't do well, but I'd rather have him out there having those 20 minutes more than Jae'Sean Tate not giving us nothing at all. I think he's starting to wear down. His shot was hot early on in the season, but his shot ain't going to stay consistent. But Cam Whitmore, this is pretty much a rare bad game for him. Fred VanVleet just basically bailed us out, man. The 3-pointer to tie it up, the mid-range jump shot to put us up, and then LP, with a big hook shot over the middle of the lane, and Jabari Smith gets us a big stop. The Pistons actually got a good shot coming up out of the timeout. It came in and out, hits off the backboard, and man, the whole Houston fan base would have cried. You know how Twitter would have been if we'd lost that game. But the basketball guys kind of saved us, and Fred VanVleet kind of saved us with his 20 and 12 in this game. And Jalen Green had 28, but he had most of that in the second quarter. And again, so the key, we got 20 points. We got 20 points for our big three from the three guys. And we got 19 from Jabari. That was the win right there.
Yeah, and you could see this game. Jabari just played absolutely phenomenal, almost his entire game. He played really well, offensively and defensively. But yet again, it just seems like somehow he's just not getting enough shots, I feel like. Obviously it's hard to let Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, and Fred VanVleet get enough shots, as well as, you want Dylan Brooks to take a few shots, right? And then obviously Jabari. But right now, man, I mean, if you can use Jalen Green off ball as much as you can between second screens between Jabari and Sengun, and then letting Fred just do that, just spam pick and roll with LP, spam pick and roll with Jabari, man. Jabari gonna get up there. I just, there was only one play I can recall in this game where Jabari, kind of cheesed us a little bit. It was kind of in the fourth quarter. And he called for the ball, got the ball, played ISO for a minute, and then passed the ball to Tate. And then Tate bricked that shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, why? Like, they leaving Tate open for a reason, right? And he hasn't been playing well his last few games. He didn't play particularly well last, the game against the Pistons. So perhaps we need to talk about that, right? But Jabari, again, he's just a willing passer, right? He's not letting his ego get to him. I think he just needs to just go out there and take it, man. He needs to go out there and just put the ball on the floor and drive more. I mean, we saw, and obviously this is the summer league, but like in summer league where he got to be the main guy, you had back-to-back 30-point games. One of them was a game winner, after, not playing for, 8 months. Not literally 8 months, but, for a while, So I just want to see more of an aggressive Jabari Smith Jr., especially with Tari not playing, and especially with Dylan Brooks not playing in this game. I want to see him just go off. He's only averaging 14 points. And I feel like he could average 20 if we were let him get more shots. So, hopefully we can figure something out with that, because I think he's going to be probably the most pivotal piece in terms of going forward in the playoffs, right? I mean, Jalen Green, he's been up and down and inefficient. You know exactly what you're getting with Alperen Şengün, just phenomenal player. You know what you're getting with Fred VanVleet, sometimes inefficient, but overall a pretty solid player. And, Jabari, he's just your solid two-way guy. He is the locksmith that can lock you down and then go down the court and get a three or a dunk immediately, right? So, I want to see Jabari be used more. I want to see what can we do using him that's going to lead to winning. What is the secret to unlocking the game here? Unfortunately, the next game we're talking about is probably one of the worst games we played all season. Up there with the Spurs loss and the Magic blowout. We got bent over. We played the Celtics, and boy, oh boy, the Celtics showed us why they were the better team. 113 to 145.
They had 145.
Yeah, man.
Man.
I mean, Peyton Pritchard had 20 points off the bench. It was bad. He shot 7 to 10 from the field. Yeah, it was bad. But speaking of bench, Cam Whitmore, right? He's our number one guy for our key players today. He played 28 minutes in this game. He had 22 points, 7 boards, an assist and a steal. Shot 54% from the field, was absolutely phenomenal. A shot almost 29% from three. We want to see the 3-point go up a little bit, but he's only had a couple games where his 3-point percentage has been poor, so we're going to let it slide today. And then he went 6 of 8 from the free throw line to go 75%, which is, again, okay for right now. He is a rookie, so we want to see those numbers increase a little bit, especially getting 28 minutes of run. It's absolutely phenomenal. Then we had Alperen Şengün play 24.5 minutes. Almost didn't play at all in the third quarter there. He had 18 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, and 4 steals. He had 4 steals going into the half, then didn't get a single steal after that. So we would have liked to have seen that, but it was a career high in steals going into the half. Ended up with 4 steals. He shot 65% from the field. Didn't get a chance to hit a 3, but he got 80% from the free throw line, which is exactly what you want to see from your center, hitting 80% from the free throw line. And then I've got Amen Thompson as our third guy here, who only got to play 25 minutes. But he had a double-double in those 25 minutes, 10 points, 10 boards. He had as many as our center, who played 25.5 minutes as well, or 25 minutes as well. So he had 3 assists and 3 steals, 2 steals to go along with that. However, his efficiency number is just putrid. He only shot 30% from the field and didn't get to make a single 3 at all. But he made all his free throws. So, we're hitting free throws at least. That was what I was just complaining about the last 2 games, not hitting free throws at all. And then here we are hitting free throws, but now we're not making shots, right? And playing putrid defense. So Dante going to break down this game here and why we ended up getting blown out, which attributed to the 3 main factors here: our defense, the 3-point offense we ended up winning, as well as just the Celtics just being hot all game, just shooting ultra efficient from the field. So go ahead.
Oh, well, where do I start right here? Other than Jason Tatum having that first half that he shot, that he hit those long threes and was splashing them. Everything went wrong in this game. They made 24 threes on us. Shot 51% from the 3-point line. You shot 51% from the 3-point line and 53% from the field. You should lose that game. You should get blown out in this game. Meanwhile, we shot only thing we shot good is from the free throw line. When we go to the line, we make our free throws. That's the only thing that was positive for us pretty much. We had more steals. We had more turnovers. Fast break points. They had 28. Of course, we're going to outscore them in the paint. But like I say, man, everything that kind of went wrong in this game just went wrong in this game, man. Dylan Brooks, good to see him back. 12 points. Alp, another double-double. Good to see him always play. Fred VanVleet, probably one of his worst games of the year with 5 points. Jalen Green, another bad game, another not so good game. Cam Whitmore had a decent game, man. 22 points for Cam Whitmore. He came out on fire. He the only Rocket pretty much came out on fire. Thompson, 10 and 10. He was okay. He wasn't great, but he was all right. I'll take that from him. In another game that Jayshawn Tate doesn't give us anything. 9 points and 0 points, just 9 minutes. Again, it ain't too much to talk about this game. We just got beat down. That's all it is. We had a hot first quarter. We had a pretty okay first quarter. We started off the game pretty much hot. And then after that, once Jason Tatum caught on fire, it was it. Everybody else started hitting threes. Peyton Pritchard, Porzingis, everybody started getting in the flow with Boston. Derek White. They just showed us, hey, wow, they're the best team in the NBA as of right now. But we had no chance to win this game. And again, it won't be long before we play them again in Houston. But other than that, this is a game we're supposed to lose. This is the type of game we're supposed to lose. But, I mean, when you get 145 points on, you can't be happy about that.
Absolutely not, especially the fact that it was 145 in regulation. No overtime, no nothing. Just dropped to cool 145. Just crazy. Yeah, like you said, Jaylen Brown went crazy. Tatum went crazy. They started hitting shot after shot. Tatum even got ejected, and we still lost this game. Everybody was just on fire for the Celtics. Probably a little bit of a Ime get back, right? They knew probably the schemes that we were going to run, kind of what we were going to use with our shooters and non-shooters. So they use that to their advantage in this game. There was definitely some sort of coaching battle kind of going on. Ime was doing his best, but this is definitely a scheduled loss, right? I mean, we just barely inked out a win against the Pistons over there in Detroit. And then this is our next game the next day. So this is a back-to-back, tail end of a back-to-back to the Celtics in Boston. On this road stretch here. No way we were winning this game. This is definitely a scheduled loss. I would have liked to just not play like players like Jalen Green, just kind of sit a couple people for the night, let them, be ready for the next game, right? But instead, we played our players. Some of them stunk pretty bad. Again, Jalen. Just another inefficient night from our guys. We shot 40% from the field to their 50 plus, and you're not winning against a team that's shooting over 50% when you're not shooting even 45% from the field. So, and again, I mean, this is a super team Boston here. You got 4 All-Stars on that team in the starting lineup between Drew Holiday, KP, Brown, and Tatum, and then Al Horford is just the LeBron of role players. Let's be honest. I mean, one of the greatest role players, especially at his age, his height, his weight, a phenomenal guy. We got cooked.
Yeah, we did.
There's really not too much to take away from this game, like you said, other than, it was just a scheduled loss. We got beat down. We had a couple of players show out again, between Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson. That's kind of it, really, and then LP did this thing like normal. So that's going to be the end of what we have for our game. Watch out. My pads are coming down, everybody, so just ignore that. So we're going to talk about making the playoffs potentially here. Hopefully we've got some playoff hopes. So, Dante, do you think it is likely the Houston Rockets can make the playoffs this year? Not the play-in, the playoffs.
I think it's likely we can. Like I said, man, I still like our opportunities, but I say I'm gonna stick with what we said earlier. I think we more than a playoff team, than a play-in tournament team, than a playoff team, and that's okay. Being Ime Udoka's first year coaching of this team, consider how young this team is. This will be a successful season. I mean, if we get to a play-in tournament. One thing Ime Udoka would not be happy with if we miss the playoffs all around, because you already know what his standard is. He planned on making the playoffs. Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, what you bring these guys in, more competitive and trying to make the playoffs. So again, I mean, I think we right where we at. We right where I expected us to be. We're gonna win some games. We're gonna lose some games that we probably shouldn't lose. But at the end of the day, if we're gonna make the playoffs, we gotta beat somebody. We gotta beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. Like Chicago, you're supposed to beat them. You're supposed to beat them when we lost to them. Chicago, when they got their players, they can be pretty streaky. They can be pretty okay. But teams that's under 500, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Hopefully, we can beat some good teams. Mix that in with some good teams as well. Like this upcoming stretch, we got the 76ers. With Joel Embiid out as of right now, DeAnthony Melton is being out. Them having Tyrese Maxey, that's a winnable game for tomorrow. It's an early game, but it's a winnable game. The Utah game, that's a winnable game. At Houston. So while we have an opportunity, we gotta beat the teams we supposed to beat while we got an opportunity. while we got an opportunity to play them. We got to take advantage of those and set those teams right there. So other than that, like I say, man, if we can get past this stretch, like the Sixers, the Knicks, they're a winning team. That won't be an easy win. But if we can win at least two of these games, or maybe even three, we good. Because the next, at the Boston Trailblazers, can we win that game? Yeah, we can win.
We have to
win that game against a 10-win team. You got to. Charlotte, you got to. I don't care where it's at. It can be in our backyard. You got to win that game. You got to be an 8-win team. I don't care where it's at. Brooklyn, you got to win that game. You got to win. They can be pretty streaky with Mikal Bridges, but you got to win that game. The Lakers coming here won't be easy. Consider that. And the Pelicans, that game won't be so easy. But at the moment, you got to beat the teams that we supposed to beat. If we want to make the playoffs, we got to beat the teams we supposed to beat.
100%. That's well said. That going forward, right? We have currently the 5th best defense in the league, right? So at the beginning of the season, we were the best defense in the league, right? But they started to figure out a little bit. So we have slipped to the 5th best defense in the league, right? Despite that, we're only putting up about 113 points per game right now as a team, and our defensive rating is 111.4. So just putting that out there, we are a 500 team with, with this kind of these points per game, right? So we got to put up more points at the end of the day, right? Yep. Obviously, we want to maintain this level of defense, still be like a top 7 defense, but we have to put up more points. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a scoring league, right? And you can only win if you put a basket in the bucket, right? So, or put the ball in the bucket. So we gotta start scoring a little bit more. We're shooting on splits for the season, 46, 36, 78.5. So, we're about league average on 3 at 36%. We're a little above league average at the free throw line with 78.5%, but we are a little under field goal percentage for league average. I believe league average is 1.4% difference. They're about 47.5% versus us at 46.1. So, we got to be more efficient. We got to be, we got to attack more, right? We got to utilize our players a little more, So, but there are some people we do got to jump. So this is the updated list right now for the playoffs. So you got your 1 through 6 seed as Minnesota, OKC, and Denver, with the Clippers, Sacramento, and New Orleans. So obviously, by the way, these are based on what it was earlier today at 8 a.m. I do know that the Clippers just lost today, just now, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you can tack on an extra W for the Wolves and an extra L for the Clippers. But, that doesn't change up the rankings much. And then, Dallas, Phoenix, and Utah. Utah jumped up the last couple of games. They're kind of hot right now, winning the last 3 of 5, I believe. So they're, a little above 500. And then there's us sitting at 500, even at the 10th seed, with LA below us, Golden State, and Memphis. Now with Ja out and Desmond Bane hurt, and a few other players, especially Derrick Rose, the only healthy player they have right now from the original starting 5 is Jaren Jackson Jr. So they're likely going to be done from the playoffs this season. So that cuts it down to 12 teams trying to make the playoffs when only 8 can make it. Dallas, I think they've fallen a little bit. I think Sacramento is going to fall, and Dallas is going to be in the playoffs at that 6th seed. Dallas has been a constant 5th through 6th seed the last couple of years. I trust that they'll be a 6th seed again. Phoenix, they're just too inconsistent, right? They're not healthy enough. But when they are hot, when they are healthy, they are unbeatable. So we have to watch out for that. And then Utah, I think they're just inking out a couple wins here. I'm not sure if they're going to – I have a feeling that they're going to trade some of their players away at the trade deadline, probably Jordan Clarkson, perhaps Lauri Markkanen, and then maybe even John Collins away to see what they can get for picks and likely tank. That still leaves us, the Lakers, and Golden State to get the play in.
Yeah,
we gotta do a lot. We have to do a lot of winning.
You gotta do a lot of winning to get to at least 6 and 8. 6 and 8. I don't think we'll get to 6. I think the further we can get, depending on the injuries by Phoenix, it's to 8. I think that's the furthest we can get. If we get the 6, I will be fine, but it don't look like for as of right now. As long as New Orleans are healthy and Zion commit to playing on the court, I think they will stay. They could stay up around that 6 to 5 area. But again, if Phoenix, like you said, if Phoenix can stay healthy, they will be a tough team to beat. We seen what they did to the Lakers the other night, how they dismantled them with all 8 players. So that tells you what type of team they can be when they healthy. So the furthest I will say is to 8, anywhere between 8th and 9th. And like I say, playing tournament, that's pretty good. Like again, that's a success for us. I mean, again, we playing meaningful basketball, something we haven't played the last 3 years. Playing meaningful basketball. This young team coming back next year with Ime Udoka. Like I said, I feel like that will be a success if we make the playing tournament. If we can win a game or 2 or get in, then that's fine. I mean, like I said, we already on par to have a way better season to win at least 38 to 39 games.
Absolutely. That's still definitely within the realm of possibility. It's just interesting to me to see that we are 500. We are, 19-19, and that is the 10th seed in the West. I mean, that's crazy, to be 500, right? I mean, teams in the past have made the playoffs as the 7th seed being 500, the 6th seed being 500, with those other teams winning, like 60 plus games, right? This year, it seems like it's a lot more even, right? I mean, Minnesota just won. So they're the clear-cut number 1 team in the West, but it was Minnesota and OKC. And then Denver, they've played a couple more games than Minnesota, so we could see that Denver just sliding. But between the 1st and 6th seed, it's only a difference of 3 wins.
Yeah.
Versus the 7th through 10th seed, it's a difference of 4 wins, right? So you're looking at a difference of, 8 wins between the 1st and 10th seed. Wild. Absolutely wild. Tight race. And here we are, January 14th already. And, we're still fighting to get in there. And LA is going to want to get in. They know they have to get in. Golden State wants to get in. They know they have to get in. But, no Draymond, so Curry doesn't have his man out there to save him. And Klay Thompson's been kind of mid, going back and forth. Andrew Wiggins has had his problems. It looks like Golden State might be falling apart. The dynasty's finally dying. I know we need some praises on that one. Finally, Golden State.
I think it's starting to fall apart. It's starting to fall apart as well. And, a lot of people like Kuminga and Moses Moody, they all coming out and saying they're not happy with their roles. Now you got to do something with those guys. And it's got to the point where they're willing to come off Andrew Wiggins, as well. So you can be looking at a total blow up on Golden State side. The Lakers side, it's unacceptable for them to be under 500. That's not how it flies in Laker land over there. So again, anytime they going through a struggle, it's a move that got to be made. And I believe they'll make a move. And I believe we're going to make a move at the trade deadline. Yes. And it's already coming out and saying that we're trying to get rid of Oladipo and Jock Landale, which is, thank God, if we get rid of him, I'll be happy to at least get something back for him. Yes, we can try to get something back for him. But I believe it needs to be a move that will help us out and give us probably an impact bench player. Hopefully we can get an impact bench player that can help us throughout this playoff run. But like I said, I can definitely see a stretch where LA and Golden State fall apart. Like you already mentioned, Golden State is already trying to fall apart. Two of their players that normally be in a rotation, they already came out and voiced their frustration. So when they probably trade them, maybe you look at a Klay Thompson, maybe you look at Andrew Wiggins, who they listening to calls on, and the Lakers, every year they're going to make a move. Every year they got to make a move once something goes on. They got to make a move.
It don't matter what seed the Lakers are. They're going to make a trade.
They still make a move. Yeah, it don't matter.
Oh, man. But, like you said, it's just, Golden State, and now I'm going to be real as a Rockets fan. I don't like to admit this, but, I think they've earned the right to be bad for a couple seasons.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
They've been real consistent, really good. And, overall, just a team that has commanded everyone's respect, even when they were bad for back-to-back seasons. The next season in 2022, they went to the finals and won, and Curry got his first finals MVP, just crazy, the career that Golden State has. And last year is the first time they've ever made the playoffs, or I think second year they've made the playoffs and lost in the first round since 2014, or lost in the second round, like in the Western Conference in general, but in the second round, that's the first time they haven't made the finals since 2014. where they were in the playoffs. That's wild to me. A 5-year stretch of going straight to the finals and then going to the finals after a 2-year break, immediately back, and then losing to, of course, all people, LeBron James in LA. That was a storybook ending, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I hope the Lakers can do well. Of course, I would like for them to make the playoffs, but not over Houston. And like I said, if we're being real, it's okay if Golden State don't make the playoffs. You got Curry. He's done everything he can in his career. He got no more to prove. It's only up from there for him. Draymond, honestly, same thing. He was a phenomenal player, defensive player of the year, an all-star, all-NBA caliber guy, and he's found this role there. Like I've been saying, like Draymond Green is like their point guard out there. He is their leader. He's their voice. He's that veteran, that guy. Despite all his antics, Draymond is a respected guy. Despite him being a dirty player, like we saw, he's a good player. He's a guy actually that I wanted us to go get in, free agency. I would have loved that. And then going forward with that, like you said, Klay Thompson, what's going to be the role for him? He's got a big contract. So how are they going to come off that without giving up more than what he's worth? And Andrew Wiggins, what's the plan for him? Are they going to try to sign Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody? I mean, we just saw them sign Poole to a big contract and then traded him away for Chris Paul. So, Moody and Kuminga might be like, you know what? Go ahead and trade me now. They might be ready to just get out because they saw that they got that, Poole got the big contract, played for an entire year, and then they shipped him off to the Wizards of all places.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. And no player likes going to a bad team, unless they're going to go be the star over there, which Poole was cool with the Wizards at first. He's like, yeah, man, I just put up 40 in the summer league. Yeah, I'm cool. Or in preseason, he thought he was all that. And they haven't even won, 8 games.
Yeah.
Like that's tough. They're 7-31 over there. That's tough, And that was just us last year, A player getting traded to Houston last year was the same thing, coming over here and, because we saw John Wall, he was rather cut than even try to come back over here when we traded with the Clippers. Yeah. He was like, yeah, just you trade for me and then cut me loose. And it was so bad. He'd rather play for no team in the league than play with the Rockets, because he ain't on a team. He got cut and he's not on a team. He about to go play at Beijing because no team wants him. That's how bad we were last year. Same thing with the Wizards this year, right? And you can look at a couple other teams that are like that, like Detroit of all places. What are they going to do for Moses? What are they going to do for Kuminga? And I, for one, wouldn't mind trying to get Kuminga. I like Kuminga. Kuminga's nice with it, but do we have the manpower to now try to see what Kuminga is like and then go forward with, building up this player? Because we're trying to win right now. So he's not even a player we might be able to get, it would have been nice last year, but this year we might not be able to get him, and same for a couple other players that are really young, really nice. So whatever they want to do, if they want to blow it up, whatever we can get, I wouldn't mind trying to see, throw a hand in there, see what we can get for Jock Landau, Victor Oladipo, and a million second rounders,
Oh yeah. And then all that stuff that came out about us, that John Wall saying we were trying to lose, kind of made it look bad on us a lot. With some of the stuff, I think, no doubt, like I believe it was said to him a little bit because of Steven Silas and stuff like that. No. But again, he's up out of the league now. He can't even get a job. He can't even get a spot. And like I say, nobody wants him. And again, I say we done one heck of a job of building this team and getting the right coach in here who guys who want to play for. And like I said, I feel like we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a spot to succeed, hopefully. And again, we're 500 right now, all the way in January. Almost halfway through the season, just 3 more games will be halfway through the season. We got Alfred Şengün, who has overtaken Paul George in the All-Star voting with 900,000 votes.
Man, people want to see that guy, man.
Dude, he's got turkey on his back, man. That's phenomenal. I believe he is 5th in the Western Conference front court for All-Star voting.
Yeah.
Just behind Kawhi Leonard, who's only got 200,000 more votes than him. Sitting at, I believe, 1.1, 1.2. So it's not possible. It's not entirely impossible for Alperen to maybe take Kawhi, right? And to be number 4 on that list. And I would love for LP to make the All-Star break, All-Star game, during their All-Star break. Let him go over there, let him show out for Houston, and see what happens. But what are we gonna do? And speaking of what we're gonna do, there was a report coming out that at the guard position for the Houston Rockets, they're looking to upgrade. A lot of people are speculating sending Jalen Green to the bench. That's not what's happening. They're not going to send Jalen Green to the bench. As much as a lot of people want that to happen, and as possible it is because of his ability to be inefficient, and his inability to want to contribute to winning in terms of efficiency and scoring wise, he's not going to go to the bench. But with that being said, we were talking about Golden State blowing it up. But there's another guy that we actually speculate about Houston trying to get in the offseason.
I know who you're talking about.
Paid for. There's a guard I love. Bro's name is Gary Trent Jr. Yeah, Gary Trent. Yes. Gary Trent Jr. over in Toronto, baby. He is a guy over there that's putting up pretty good numbers. He's having some career lows, which means his trade value going to be a little bit lower. Maybe we can get a sweet deal for him. But I say we go for him simply because of his shooting, his defense. He led the league in steals just last season, I believe, actually. He's a great 3-point shooter. He can go off for any night. And Toronto looks like they're falling apart. I don't know if anybody watched that interview with the Toronto coach at the end of the Lakers game. I think Dante know what I'm talking about, right? A couple nights ago.
Yeah, a couple nights ago when he did the official, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm talking about some Scotty Barnes as the face of the league, which was probably the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Not Scotty Barnes. Good player by all means, but Scotty Barnes ain't the face of the league, my boy. You need to calm down. Going forward to see if maybe Toronto's going to break it up, right? Because Pascal, he wanted to resign there. He thought he was the franchise guy over there, but if their coach is saying it's Scotty Barnes, Pascal might feel some type of way about that. If Pascal is getting ready to get up out of there, which it looks like the Mavs might be trying to trade for Pascal. So you have Kyrie, Luka, and Pascal Siakam, which would be absolutely dirty and crazy to have those 3 on the same team.
Yeah.
We might be able to get Gary Trent in that trade, to kind of help out and move salaries around to make things work and get people the couple picks that they want.
Yeah.
If we can try to get Gary Trent, that'd be crazy. Dante, it seems like you had another guard in mind.
We did have another guard in mind because we talked about this over the offseason. But right now, I think Gary Trent make more sense because I don't want another guard at that position. And knowing Amin Thompson is getting those minutes now since he's back. So it'll be taken away from Amin Thompson. So I guess I will definitely, 1,000% agree with you that Gary Trent will make more sense. How about a bogey from Detroit? From Detroit, shooter. When he's healthy, he's a very good shooter. He can create his own shot, a consistent shooter. But I love Gary Trent. I mean, Jayshawn Tate, you put Jayshawn Tate in the deal, Jock Landale in the deal. Now the starting spot opens up. It depends on what Ime Udoka want to go with. Do you want to go with Cal Whitmore or do you want to go with Tari Eason in the lineup? You can go either way, or do you throw Bogey or Gary Trent in there? Do you throw him in that starting lineup? But again, I mean, I forgot Dylan Brooks back. He's the 3. I almost forgot. But they can come off the bench. It doesn't matter. They can come off the bench, and that boosts our bench up. That helps our bench out as well, get us another scorer coming off that bench. So I like that.
If we can get a guy that can put up 15 guaranteed every night off the bench on elite efficiency, I think that's going to boost us to potentially overtaking that 9 spot and keeping us at that firm 8, right? If we can get the right pieces in place, kind of like you were saying earlier. I think the highest we can get to is 7 if injuries occur and whatnot for other teams. But yes, I think otherwise we'll probably end up being the 8th seed, just a little under 500, which is absolutely great. Winning. I think if we are at 38 wins, that's an extra 16 wins we increased by from last season to this season, which I don't know. I mean, that's huge win. Huge win for us if we can do that. But, going forward with that, like you said, Gary Trent, Bojan Bogdanovic, that'd be a nice piece over there. Just a shooter that really complements Alperen Şengün is what we'd be looking for. And, that plays defense, and that's Gary Trent. That's a guy that can do it, would do it, and should
Yeah.
do it. He's got 3 years on his contract, so we'd be trading for a guy that's got 3 years. That'd be phenomenal. As well as, if we're giving up a Tate, Depot, and Jock, we are eligible to be able to trade up for anyone that's worth $24 million a year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of cap.
That's a lot of cap space. Yeah.
That's a lot of cap I didn't think we were going to have. So, if we can get somebody within that 19 to 24 range, do it. No questions asked. If we can do it, do it. I know Levine is also a guy who obviously isn't going to come off the bench, but he's a guy that is, making a lot of money, and he's got career lows, and everyone's looking at him like, the Lakers might be able to get him for just D'Lo, Rui, and Reeves. Like, that would be a steal for LA to get Levine for, that poo-poo platter. Shout out Locked On Lakers over there.
Yeah.
It's their term. But, I don't know. There's a lot that can go around. Let us know what you guys think. What does Houston have to do in order to get to the playoffs? Do you guys think it's possible? Comment down below to let us know. Dante, I think that's going to be it for the night, my boy. Yep. So be sure to make sure you follow me at Drip. That's 2Ps_GAWD. Follow Dante and his YouTube channel at Coach Dante31. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram as well. Same with me, Instagram, Twitter. And you can follow this account. Yes, H-TownRundown. We've got a Spotify at H-TownRundown. We also have this account on Twitter and Instagram as well. So please, please, please go follow over there. Share us around, like the channel, and comment down below, man. What does Houston got to do to get the playoffs, right? And you guys think it's possible for us to get to the playoffs. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night. Dante?
Have a great night, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.